So distractions are everywhere. I've been meaning for ages to just sit down and record a video of just myself in front of the camera. I've just been truthfully putting it off because of like things that were going on in my life, just feeling like I didn't have the right setup for it. It's only really recently I started, because I joined a self-development group, was to actually get myself in front of the camera. Because I was saying to people like about how, if you need to record videos, you should just sit down, get a camera and just hit record. And so that's what I did. I mean, I pretty much had my camera set up. My phone battery was about to die actually. So I've got like a wire quite literally on the camera and just like it's plugged in at the socket at the back, and then I just kind of thought this looked like okay lighting. So yeah, I know talk videos also just don't get a lot of views as well, so I know this is going to be one of those like videos where there's no fancy editing, there's nothing like that. It's just going to literally be me sat down in front of the camera. So I don't even know how well this video will do, but I think I've got a very interesting perspective. Just over the last couple of years, I've been doing self-improvement and I've been constantly distracted by things. And some of the tips that I know to manage them, and then some of the kind of internal things that I don't think get talked about a lot of the time. Really just a chance to like get to know me a little bit more, because I haven't really posted myself in front of the camera and talked about anything regarding me. So hi. I'm Tirath and I'm gonna talk about distractions today. So as I sort of said in the beginning, distractions are kind of everywhere. We've constantly got them, and it's nothing new that I'm saying here. Everybody knows, like, Instagram is distracted. Constant things happen. Everyone's always really busy with work and jobs and school and kids and everything like that. You see all the videos that are kind of like, productivity systems and everything else. This kind of whole notion of distraction actually started from when I was like really young. So I was diagnosed as having autism, and I was also diagnosed as having dyslexia. When I got to university, so I had a proper full-on dyslexia report, so they would allocate me extra time. But one of the interesting things is as long with the extra time, I actually got what at the time was student services support. I don't know if they still do it at the university, but I would go to a building like every Monday, I think it was, like maybe occasionally, I think certain days I'd go Tuesday, Wednesday, just because of how schedules are lined up. I'd meet with someone and we would sit down. I just remember always this piece of paper that had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the top, and then morning, afternoon, evening, fill in the box. That was pretty much what I would do in those kind of sessions. I would just sit there and discuss with her what I was going to do every single day, in essence. So like when I'd have my lectures, when I'd just have lunch, like literally like when I'd have lunch, and like when I'd go and meet my friends just for like, casual downtime. That really was really effective for me. I had a period after that where I went away out of university and I just got really obsessed, maybe because of the autism and hyper-focus on just certain subjects, but really interested in like productivity and time management and productivity. I got really into self-improvement at the time as well. I was a bit into it before, but then I really got into it after that, reading like quite a few different books. But there was a lot of things out there at the time. So I found a YouTuber called Thomas Frank, and he pretty much recommended like Notion and Todoist, and he had a course actually. I think it was on Skillshare, and I watched the whole course, and I got my Gmail organized, I got my Drive organized, I got my Google Calendar sorted. I felt like I was just being really productive with my time. Like I felt like I knew what I was doing every day. I was getting things done. In hindsight, so I continued to like just keep doing this for like years and years and years. Like so I carried on with Todoist and everything else. And then I reevaluated my productivity system a few months back, and I was like, I don't actually feel like I'm getting as much done as I can. I felt like I was just ticking things off more for the satisfaction of doing it. So I actually ended up switching to something open source. It's a website called Super Productivity. It's a little bit more complex to use, but I made everything really simple. So I just made a checklist, I made a habit tracker. Every sort of Sunday, I'll look at it, I'll see what I need to get done. What it was is I just had so many ideas in terms of like what I want to do in life and my goals and everything. So I just needed a place and a system to organize it. I see a lot of the time on like social media, like there's all these productivity hacks and everything else, but I actually feel like the easiest thing to do is oftentimes the simplest things. Like I've got that specific thing of super productivity for a reason, which is like, I've had goals that I need to get down and everything else. But I think for the average day-to-day person, like a simple like notepad and just like, what I've got to do, and then like even just a calendar will work. I think what kind of happens is we sort of overcomplicate these things, and like we get busy with, as I said to a friend years ago, we get busy with like busy but not actually producing any results. Like you can kind of sit there and just write the to-do list off by heart, but then you don't actually get anything on the to-do list. Like when I got Super Productivity for the first time, I was like setting it out and like putting all the backdrops in and everything else, making it look really cool. But I was like, I knew to myself, I was like, this isn't actually being productive. This is a bit of a distraction. I should really like actually be ticking some of the stuff off that I want to do. I don't have to like. I think honestly with distractions, like we've heard it sort of constantly said about social media being a distraction. Like people waking up with social media. I honestly can kind of understand it as well, because it's like, as someone who actually like does a lot of productivity stuff, I've noticed that like certain things do distract me still, and they still can like affect my time and waste my time. Like I really try to manage my sort of social media time on Instagram by like limiting it as much as I can. What quite surprised me the other day was I saw on BBC News that this girl had spent like 9 hours on social media, and I was just like, how can you spend like 9 hours on social media? It's crazy. Like I think the most I've ever spent is like maybe 3, and even then that was like because I was on a live stream on Instagram and I was like commenting and stuff. But that is crazy to me that like there's a ban at the moment and someone like would spend like 9 hours on social media. We've heard it constantly said, so like I'm not trying to be preachy here. It's just that constantly like our phones are distracting us and everything else. And I used to actually have my phone organized in a way where like I thought I was like not going to get distracted. A few months back I actually took it to the extreme of making a minimalist dumb phone. So what I did was I didn't really want to buy like another like Nokia phone, for instance. I was just very much like, I like the phone I've got. I've got like the camera and I've got like a few WhatsApp things and everything else. So I ended up installing like a minimalist look on my phone where it's just a black screen and white text. That is all my phone is. Open up my phone and all you're gonna see is to do it like Super Productivity, Gmail, WhatsApp, a few other things, and then swipe to the right hand side, and then like alphabetically you can go through all the other apps on my phone. That has honestly helped me quite a lot in terms of like it's really reset my dopamine levels. I oftentimes feel like, because a lot of people like kind of have also made comments about my phone, like, what? I don't understand your phone. It's really boring. Like, there's no apps or anything. It's just literally white text, and I don't understand how to like use it. But what's really funny is it's like half the time I'm seeing people like using their phones and they're closing apps and then reopening the apps. It's like constant color and stimulation, and even if you don't need to do anything, it's like something will just distract you and you get all the notifications and stuff. So I've sort of like set my phone up with kind of a more intentional look, is the best way I can kind of describe that. Is it's very intentional in terms of, this is the apps that I actually need to use, and then like, I can search for the apps, and that really kind of helped. And then like when it came to like managing like Instagram, I did download another app actually that was called Screen Zen. This app basically like blocks, like gives you a time frame when you can use social media, and then after that you're like blocked out for like an hour or so, depending on like how you set it up. That really helped me. The only thing is like I was crafty and I got rid of it again, and then I've like reinstalled it again. It's funny because I was speaking to a family member and we were just both saying about how it's funny that we become so dependent on our phones that the only way to like sort of restrict us from using our phones is we have to like find an app to help depend on the phone, to help with the distractions of the phone. So it's kind of a conundrum actually. When I've noticed my social media time being the highest has actually been when I'm not like facing something in my day-to-day life. Like I'll constantly doom scroll to avoid thinking and like being intentional about thoughts. And I feel like we all in a way kind of do that, where it's like we're avoiding like that segment of like alone time where we're just like in our own thoughts, able to be present. I can really understand it because as a UX designer, I understand how addictive apps are, and that's kind of like another reason I set up my phone in that kind of way, is because I knew that companies like deliberately use the apps like colors and everything to like make you addicted. Like I'm not being like, I'm not, this is the thing, I'm not saying anything new here. But what I actually think is the root cause of this is like it's something internal that's like making us distracted, or something we're not like internally facing. So there's ways, to like obviously like, you can put blockers on your phone, or, you can like change the look of your phone, and like, you can write all the to-do lists and everything else to like be productive. There's times where I'll write something in and then I'm gonna have to change it. I'm gonna have to like readjust the schedule, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to like put this in like hold and everything else. But it's very much about that kind of intentional side of things. So when it comes to intention, I really got into meditation. I knew about meditation when I was younger because I'm a Sikh actually, so I was brought up in a Sikh household, so I knew about that kind of form of meditation. I had friends who were Christian and Muslim as well, so all kinds of different religions when I was younger. I never really knew much about Buddhism until I went on a trip with the scouts. Like we went into town and there was a Buddhist center. I took it very seriously. I know some of the boys there didn't. I really got value actually, because I sat down and meditated and I just felt this like real calm. Like I just completely felt at ease with everything that was like kind of going on. Yeah, since then I got much more into spirituality and got into Medito as well, like the app, like that app a few years ago. And that's a really easy app to use. Like it's got very few distractions, I found. Because I feel sometimes when I've used other apps, they can be a bit too distracting. Whereas this one, it's like set a timer and go. I mean, to be fair, you don't really need an app to like do anything. You could literally just set a stopwatch and do like a few types of meditation just through that. Oftentimes I've heard the excuse to people that I can't meditate. I oftentimes understand that the reason I think people say this is because they don't quite understand the principle behind meditation, which is that it's not that you don't have thoughts, it's that you become aware of the thoughts that are going on and you can start to observe these thoughts. I have like a saying where, every thought that you have is an opportunity to accept or reject. Yes, that can really change the perspective of your life. It can really set out your intention when you're thinking like that and you're being mindful of that. It can really change your perspective, because I think the thing with distractions is like there's so many things coming at us, and then we don't really take in what's internally going on with ourselves. We don't have that kind of time where we sort of pause, sit, and reflect about what internally I'm sort of feeling, what I'm processing. Which is why I got really into journaling, is because I was wanting to become a lot more intentional with my thoughts and to organize my thoughts. I read a book actually called Deep Work by Carl Newport. My favorite quote in that book that's stuck with me has always been, "The brain is great for creating ideas. It's not a good place to store the ideas." That really helped me because I have loads of ideas, I have lots of aspirations and goals. Sometimes I just think to myself, I've got too many ideas going in my head and I just need to get them out there. And even with this, I was just like, I've got so many ideas. Like, I had so many ideas in terms of like how I could have edited and recorded this video and made it like really fast paced and everything else. And then I realized that I'm getting distracted. I'm not just simply sitting down and talking in front of the camera and getting the ideas out there. There'll be things in this video where you can like look at and think about, and hopefully like, you've stuck with this, because I know that it can be really difficult, because I know this video is like very low stimulus. I don't know how it's going to perform in terms of the algorithm, because a lot of videos that are in the algorithm, they perform better when it's like much more high paced and fast editing and everything else. Whereas this is just literally, I'm sat on a sofa, I've got the camera here, and I'm just talking about distractions, which, I really kind of hope that you're taking some time out of this video to just like really absorb what I'm saying and like kind of being present. Internally, I think we feel a lot as human beings, and internally there's a lot going on. I think, because I've often seen it in videos as well, where people would give productivity tips and they say like, they always say things like, oh, you're being lazy or this and that, and like, you need to do this and like, have this system in place. I just sort of think to myself, like, I'm trying to like not call people lazy and everything else. I had a conversation with a friend and I was like sort of saying to her, like, I don't think it, because like we were talking about just work and like, productivity and everything else, like, because a lot of people also want to rush the result as well and like have it finalized and finished. So we were talking quite a bit about that. And yeah, we were just sort of saying like, it's like, I don't think it's like people are being lazy or directionless or anything. There's always like something kind of internally going on with the person that you won't realize. You kind of just have to be like empathetic towards other people in that situation. Don't judge people if they are getting distracted. Like, if you're sat with them and like, they may not be like paying attention to you. They may be on their like phone, to just like kind of have that empathy to just be like, okay, I don't need to take this kind of personally, because I've had it as well where I very much try to keep my phone away from situations. When I've got family members around, I'll tend to try and put my phone in the other room so I can like be fully present and locked in with people, because I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to have that notification or anything else, even though like I've pretty much muted notifications or anything. It's just, even just the like intention behind, okay, I've got the phone literally on the table while I'm talking to someone, the phone is still there and like, it could go off, like, so And I'm also saying, like, in certain situations, you know, like, you have to keep your phone on, maybe for work or anything like that. But a good chunk of time, when I really I try to mute my phone, keep it on do not disturb, and just be present with what's going on. Like, I'm really present in this video right now. I don't think a single thought has come into my head since I've started hitting record, other than just the conversation of what's naturally going to come out of me. That was another thing I was talking to people about in terms of distractions, is like, you know, how to like script a video, how to get the hook and everything right. I realized that when I was talking in the self-development group, I just needed to sit down and record the video. I don't need to distract myself by being like, oh, okay, I need to like perfect the script. I need to like do this kind of fancy editing. Like, what will just kind of naturally come out will naturally kind of come out in the video. Like, I won't get distracted. I'll just stay present and focused on what I need to say and what I need to articulate. It will just naturally come out to me. So there's a lot of things that I've spoken about just now, like being distracted, you know, tips that I've done, experiences that I've done. I don't know what the situation you've got is on this screen, on the other side of the screen. It's really funny. I've just talked about distractions and I literally got a Discord notification. I swear I did not time that, but I was saying about, I don't know what's going on the other side of the screen right now for you. Like, you know, whether you're listening to this on your phone, whether you're listening to this on like your computer, you've got like personal kind of situations going on. I would really just say, whatever's going on with your life, you can take some time out of it to just really be present. Like, you know, even if it's like a few seconds, just to like really think about your thoughts and how you're feeling right at that moment. You know, I probably said something in this video that will resonate with you, and like, you'll probably have a think on like what I've just sort of been talking about distractions and the internal self. So yeah, I mean, I could always like, you know, I could have like done this in a way where it was like very much like, okay, so this, like, you know, I had ideas where I was like gonna be like, okay, so this is how you're gonna like set up your week. You go in on Sunday, you write down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what you're gonna do. You're gonna like time block morning, afternoon, evening, and then like, you know, with your phone, you're gonna like turn your phone into a minimalist phone. Like, you know, you're gonna like put white text and like have a black background, and then screen zen. It will lock you out of your phone for an hour. Like, you know, those tips are out there. What I really wanted to sort of talk about distractions is just the internal self. Like, I think getting to the root cause of a problem is way more effective for finding a solution to that problem. And I think a lot of the time with distractions, it's like, okay, well, why am I getting distracted? Is it, you know, just because like I have some time to kill? Is it because like, you know, internally there's something I'm avoiding? I don't know what that is. So, you know, because I know there's people who have goals as well. Like, I'm speaking to quite a few of them, and a lot of the time it's that they're getting sort of distracted on all these different things they have to do. But I think it's just a case of doing the simple things first. Like, even just what we've got in our group is just a spreadsheet. And what's really funny is like on the spreadsheet, I put script the videos, and instead I sat down today, hit record, and then I've not got a script. I have not had a script this entire 26 minutes of the video. I've just been going off the cuff. I am actually surprised I've managed to speak for 26 minutes. I'll be surprised if you've even like do comment if you've actually like made it through to this part of the video. I'd be really curious. But yeah, the spreadsheet was just tick off like script editing, and instead I've sat down and recorded a video. I've avoided the distractions of everything that's going on. I've just been like, get the camera, set up some lighting. So I've got the light here and I've got the light there. Have the camera like here, so it's just like you're looking directionally at the camera, at the viewer, and just record and just like, be authentic, be genuine to who you are. And that's what I've sort of tried to hope to do in this video, is just to like sort of be myself, talk about some of the experiences that I've had, really just kind of like show up and like, do what is required of me, because I've made this commitment that like, I'm going to start posting content and doing videos, and I really want to like have more of these kind of things because they're really fun to do. Actually, I really I really enjoyed doing this and talking about it. And really, all I'm going to say with like distractions is just, the simplest thing will work. If it is just you need to write something down on a piece of paper of things you need to do, if you need to get like a calendar and like, put stuff on there. It's really funny because I've got like a really big calendar on my wall called the Big Ass Calendar, and I just write things in, and even that was a distraction because I was writing things in, and like I don't think like since I've put it up again, like I've actually like written any things, but I am like using it to keep track of the days and like goals and everything. So it's whatever's gonna work for you, but I think I'll just start really simple. Like if it's that you've got a goal where you want to start recording content, like just get your phone and record the content. I understand it can be like really scary and intimidating. Like I only know how to do this because years and years ago I went into acting, so that's the only reason I know how to do this. And like also because I have a graphic design background, so I kind of know how to do the lighting and like that kind of stuff. But even then, I've just been keeping this really minimalist. Like I literally flipped the phone and hit portrait video, and I was just like, if I make mistakes in this video, it's perfectly all right. It'll come out naturally as it's supposed to come out. So yeah, that will really cover it, I think, for today's video. I hope you've like enjoyed it, and I hope you've really got some kind of value out of this in terms of whether it's like internally looking at what you're doing, if it's getting a simple to-do list to do that, to get a calendar, or even if it's like to just try a bit of meditation and like to try and like spend less of the time getting distracted and more time being kind of present. Like what I really enjoy doing now is I like going to nature. I like going out in nature in the morning. The very first thing I'll do is try to get sunlight and do some grounding actually, which has got some really good benefits. But internally, you're going to know what's distracting you. And then internally, you're going to have to figure out what it is and how you're going to overcome it. So I really wish you the best with that, and I really just want to say thank you for watching this, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.